Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. In this video today, we're going to be discussing, as the title suggests, the Smart Visa, but with specific emphasis on the Smart I category. This category pertains to investors. I'm reading specifically from a publication done by BOI. The Smart I category, investors and companies using technologies in manufacturing or delivering services and being in the targeted industries. Again, as discussed in previous videos, there are targeted industries that Thailand is utilizing these programs to both attract technological firms, manufacturing concerns, as well as individual manufacturing talent, IT talent, talent in some of these new digital core industries that are going to basically be, well, for lack of a better term, the future of business, if you will. So Thailand is trying to attract not only entities, but individuals of a certain level of skill and ability to bring those skills to bear here in the kingdom. So to quote further from the publication, specifically under qualifications, 1, directly investing in one or more companies in Thailand using technologies as a base in manufacturing or delivering services and are in the targeted industries as an individual investor to the total amount of at least 20 million baht. So very much like the BOI generally, these investor visas, while they do have their privileges, they have certain strings attached to them. Notably, there's a certain investment threshold, and the type of undertaking needs to fall under the rubric of certain types of this digital technology, targeted industries, things like robotics and things. Again, there's a specific video on the targeted industries. We talk about the Thailand Smart Visa system as well as Thailand 4.0, where we go into all the types of the targeted industries that are going to be targeted by this. But it's basically tech, big data, those kinds of things are well and truly being encouraged here in the kingdom, at least at the time of this filming. The investment must be maintained throughout the validity period of the Smart Visa. So again, there's a high level of scrutiny associated with these visas. I go into that at length in other videos specific to the other subcategories of this Smart Visa. So there's a level of scrutiny, there's an endorsement component, a certification component, and there's also sort of an ongoing check-in to make sure with this investor visa that the actual investment remains here in the kingdom. The business to be set up or invested in must be, again, certified as being the ones using technology in manufacturing or delivering services and being in the targeted industries by the relevant agencies such as the National Innovation Agency, Digital Economy Promotion Agency, and National Science and Technology Development Agency. So again, there's a certification component to this. And these are not organizations that are particularly known for their lack of detail and meticulousness. They want to be certain with respect to these investments that the investments, first of all, are real. The money's really being invested into the economy here in Thailand, but specifically being invested into the high-tech industries, the digital economy, and so forth. So the thing to take away from, in my opinion, from the qualification side is first, there's a high level of scrutiny. Secondly, there has to be a real investment. And finally, it has to be in these targeted areas. And that targeting is going to be defined by the relevant authorities in this situation. And it's also going to be scrutinized and adjudicated before one of these visas is issued. So privileges, maximum 4-year visa, pretty good. As of the time of this filming, 2 years is about the most anyone can hope for. And those are even in rather extenuating circumstances where it's felt that they're warranted. No work permit required for working in the endorsed companies. But again, not quoting directly from here, but basically the endorsed companies. There is an endorsement process. So while there's no work permit per se, as part of the endorsement process, there's kind of an inherent work authorization associated with being endorsed. So again, while on one hand, you don't actually have to have a work permit book and go through all of that, you're still going to have to be scrutinized as to whether or not they're going to grant work authorization, and they're going to want to see that that work authorization is occurring within the specified fields and areas that they're wanting to promote. Prior to any job changes or addition of jobs, an official approval must be obtained. Again, very similar to work permits as they exist at the time of this filming. If one wants to undertake another job title, another job in another area of Thailand, notwithstanding the fact that it may be under the same company, amendments to one's work permit has to be undertaken. It doesn't seem to be much different under this system, albeit it's done in a slightly different manner. Again, there's no work permit book per se. There's just this approval and endorsement adjudicatory protocol. This is a substantial benefit to most. 90-day reporting to the immigration extended to 1 year. So for these 4-year Smart Visa holders, there's no more of this 90-day check-in stuff. I know it can be really kind of annoying for folks. My personal opinion is that could be a little bit more streamlined and done maybe on a semi-annual basis. That being said, we're stuck with the structure as it is. And 4-year Smart Visa folks are going to be able to go ahead and not have to check in every 90 days. They're only going to have to check in every 1 year. No more reentry permit required. So presumably the reentry permit is going to be inherent to the visa itself. That's a substantial benefit. No more having to get a new reentry permit every year. No more having to keep it up. No more having to make sure it's a multiple entry versus a single entry. So presumably the 4-year Smart Visa is going to stay quote unquote alive if one leaves the country and comes back in, as opposed to a regular standard non-immigrant visa such as the B, the O, the ED, or the retirement visa that are currently in existence at the time of this filming, which require a reentry permit in order to keep that visa status alive while one is abroad, so one can come back in and retake that status upon entry. So lack of reentry permit is kind of a nice thing. Spouses and children granted permission to stay in Thailand, presumably for the duration of the underlying Smart Visa. Spouses granted permission to work with no work permit required. The jobs must not be on the prohibited list of occupations and professions for foreigners. So again, that's another benefit. Again, it does sound like they've gotten rid of the work authorization process totally. I would say that that's a misnomer. They've simply somewhat tweaked it, and they've moved it under the authority of someone other than the Labor Department directly. There's simply this endorsement component associated with the promulgation and the approval of a given Smart Visa. And although it isn't a work permit application per se, it is very similar to it. As I've stated in previous videos, we're going to do a video specific to the actual process for undertaking this system, or undertaking, I should say, the actual process for applying to get one of these videos, or one of these visas, but we're not quite there yet. This is fairly new, so I'm just breaking down the process now. As soon as I can do something in more detail as to how these things are going to work from a processing standpoint, I'll do another video and get it up as soon as I can.